The invite.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, I want to thank everybody for doing to a special edition Steelers pre-snap. I'm Luther Dupree. I got my partner Smokin Jim on the line, and we got Ralph Williams in the house. He has about 1 million shows on the internet, radio, and everything else. Thanks for joining me, guys. How you doing, Ralph?
Good. I'm doing well, Luther. Thank you for having me on this morning.
All right. Yeah, glad we could get on. I was having some computer issues, but we're still able to go a little bit. How you doing, Smokin Jim? Where you at, in Monroeville, or where you at today?
I'm on the road, but Ralph is my partner.
Here you go. Here you go.
That's
Smokin
it,
Jim's
man.
still working on that Obama phone, so we'll see what he has to offer for us today. Hey, real quick, guys, let's get into the recap of the Steelers versus Titans game. I was there. I was right again. I said the Titans were going to lose. It was going to be a close game. I was right. I think you guys had it wrong. Smokin Jim, you took the first L. What were your thoughts about the game?
Again, the Pittsburgh Steelers are the first team in NFL history with a winning record. And each game they lost the yardage battle. The team could easily be 0-7 instead of 0-8 instead of 5-3.
Here you go.
But a win is a win. It was an ugly win, and congratulations, Lee. Make the right prediction.
All right, Ralph, your thoughts on the game? I think you had the Titans. Did you have the Titans winning or the Steelers winning?
I had the Steelers winning by about 3 points. I said it was going to be a dogfight. I thought that was going to be the case. But what I actually do, Luther, is I do a flip flop. Yeah, I actually said if the Steelers are going to win, it's going to be by 3, or if the Titans win, it's going to be by 3. But what I did was I said the Steelers were going to win. It was going to be a dogfight. The thing I liked about the game, Luther, was that Matt Canada was on the sidelines, and Kenny Pickett was able to have two voices in his ear instead of one. And I thought that actually helped out the communication. I saw some different plays. I saw some wildcat. I saw some, just some different things, and wrinkles in the offense. The only thing I was very unhappy about was the way George Pickens acted. And I thought his attitude and his conduct was a little unacceptable.
Yeah, I hear you. When I was at this game, we took some of the youth to this game. Very cold night, and Kenny Pickett, they had the first drive early, then they didn't have another drive. It seems like until the very end of the game. George Pickens, he was frustrated after the game, but he had a touchdown. All he had to do was get his feet in. He didn't do it. Kenny did miss him on some passes. But what I saw, Will Levis has an NFL arm. I mean, the ball jumps out of his arms, and you could see the clear difference between his throws and Kenny Pickett's throws. I mean, it flies out. He was making throws off the back foot and putting it right there. It was just cutting through the air. And Kenny, what can we say? When the game is on the line, he does step up. He makes his best throws. The throw that he dropped into Deontay Johnson on the sideline was a perfect pass in the fourth quarter, and it was an excellent route by Deontay Johnson for the winning touchdown. I mean, that was a great route. It's really great to have him back. But I saw them beating the Titans. I knew that we'd be able to hold off Derrick Henry and make just enough plays. It's really disappointing we lost Cole Holcomb on a very kind of friendly fire, man. He was just running to make a play, and the guy ran into his knee. His season's over. Now we have some more trouble at the linebacker spot. It looks like Robinson's going to get some more playing time now because we're kind of shorthanded back there. But that's what I saw. But I figured we'd win. I'm happy about it. We do have a comment. Terry French, GP is just passionate about his game. Titans have found their franchise quarterback.
Yes,
Well,
they have.
I think GP, yeah, he's passionate, but he's also showing a lot of immaturity. I mean, pouting on the sideline, saying "free me, get me out of here," removing all that stuff. Come on, that's real immature. But that's what guys do when they want to be traded, when they're unhappy, they're not getting the ball. But you got a victory. You got a victory most of the year. He's been the main guy. Deontay Johnson had the big game. You didn't. You could have had a touchdown, but you didn't get your feet in. Very immature. Titans, it looks like this guy has an NFL arm. We'll see if he's the franchise quarterback they've been looking for a while in Tennessee since Steve McNair left, it seems like. They wasted money on Ryan Tannehill. He's an absolute bum. They paid him too much. We'll see if Levis can do it. He has an NFL arm. We'll see if he has the mentality to get it done. All right, fellas. That's good on that. Again, hit us up. Let's start off with Smokin Jim. What do you have for us in your first attempt with Smokin Jim?
Well, I was right again. I said at the beginning of the year that Love would have a better season than Aaron Rodgers, and I was right there. Listen,
Aaron Rodgers got hurt in the first game.
I'm being specific. He had a better year. Hey, listen, I said on draft day 2 years ago, I took heat. I was the only one that said it because I'm the best scout on the planet. I watched 2 college football games every day for 365 days a year, including Christmas. I told you that George Pickens was the freakiest athlete to play wide receiver that we've seen since Randy Moss. I said he could never play for my team. I said he refuses to learn the route tree. I said he loafs on routes. You know what I mean? I said he's going to be a diva. He's going to be a cancer in the locker room. And I said I love him. I said he's going to put up big numbers. He's going to play. But I said I would trade him. I would get rid of him. And now, even Merrill Hodge is saying what I said. It only took everybody 2 years to say it. Ralph is saying it now. Everybody's saying it but you, Lou.
Yes.
So where Smokin Jim was right, again, with George Pickens. Get rid of him.
All right. Once again, Smokin Jim wants to prove that he's right. Hey, listen, we got a Terry French back in here. Thanks again. Terry's always in here. George Pickens is a killer. You always feature killers. Not sure what the coaching staff is doing. Okay. GP is just young. He is unbelievable. All right, Frank Jackson, unbelievable on the field and off the field. I mean, we never know what this guy is going to do. On the field, he's pretty much unstoppable. But mentality is he's going to have to mature a little bit. I mean, the way he acted was disappointing and a great win. It should be about the win, not about him getting mad on the sideline or removing everything Steelers or him talking about free me. I mean, that's just crazy. They're 5-3 rate in the playoff picture, and it's a great thing. Now, Ralph, do you have a Steel City news or a topic you want to talk about for a few minutes? I know I didn't tell you about that.
Well, George Pickens, he is what he is. The interesting part about this is we're going to find out if he lasts this past his rookie contract. I mean, if he's acting like this right now, and the Steelers don't want another Antonio Brown. They can't afford to have one. Okay, right now they have too young of a team, Luther, in order to have somebody like this. Okay, and I blame this on team leadership because somebody needs to step up and say, hey, look, you gotta stop doing this, and they don't have it. Who's their leader on offense? Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett's only been with the team, what, 2 years? So you can't, if you have a guy who's been on the team for like 15, 20 years or something, or 10 years even, somebody that's been around a while that could step up and say, hey, look, Kenny, you can't, or I'm sorry, George, you can't do this. Okay. But there's nobody there to do that. I don't even know if Deontay Johnson could even by him even saying anything. even help the cause. I think this has to be fixed because the Steelers have too many problems right now. And as Smokin Jim said, they're winning games. But as I always say, it's better to be lucky than good. And the Steelers right now, they're not good. They're just lucky because the other team screws up, the other team beats themselves, the other team commits penalties. That's why I say it's better to be lucky than good.
All right, Ralph. Listen, in terms of that, everybody talks about the Steelers are lucky, the Steelers are this. I see this as an amazing coaching job. You got a young quarterback who's struggling. You got young offensive linemen. You have injuries all throughout. Minka, the best safety in football, has been out for 4 games. He's going to miss another game. Deontay Johnson missed 7 games. And they're still right in the thick of it. Hopefully Kenny Pickett can start going a little better. The jury's still out. Najee Harris has been struggling most of the year. Lucky for him that we have a Jalen Warren backing him up. Think about it. Tight end, Freermuth. Moo hasn't played pretty much all year. So, guys, you can look at it half full, half empty. We're not playing our best ball, but we're 5-3. Offensively, it's been a struggle. It's been horrible to watch. I like watching the defense because the defense is going to make plays. The offense, they just have to hold tight until the offense can make one play. TJ Watt is on his, NFL Player of the Year pace right now, and Highsmith is just getting better and better. So, guys, we got to stop looking at it as half empty all the time. These guys are making the plays. They have to, and I'm looking forward to this Packers game. They have some safety, some injuries in the defensive backfield, and I think there's going to be plays to be made today. We just have to make them. Ralph, you made a great point. I liked having Matt Cannon on the sideline. He's still not very good, but at least it appears that he can see the game better when he's on the sideline, and
Absolutely.
him and Kenny can have that one-on-one discussion. I think it was a great move by Matt Cannon and Mike Tomlin to bring him on the sideline. And we'll see if it was just a one-game thing and the offense clicked a little better or what. But the running game was great that game. Broderick Jones, Jim, you take another L, sir. You said he was not going to start. I said he would start and would be ready. He was in there, and the running game looked so much better. He's got to stay in the lineup. I don't know what Okafor did. He made some kind of statement and got put on the bench. He needs to stay there because Broderick Jones is the future. They moved him to the other tackle. He looked great back there. Keep him in there. I'm excited about what they've done. Hopefully, they can start getting other guys the ball. Still don't understand why we haven't been able to get more creative with a speedster like Calvin Austin. There's no reason we can't have a couple deep plays to him a game. Get him in space, let him use that 4-3 speed, and open up the offense a little bit. Very disappointing that, but I'm looking at it as half full.
Hey, Luther. I know it's your show, but you're hogging it up. Hey, correction. First of all, I said he would never beat out Dan Moore.
Jim, I don't want to hear that. You said he wasn't going to start.
He was selected at left tackle. You don't move up 3 spots in the first round for a right tackle or a guard or a center. I said Dan Moore is a Pro Bowl caliber left tackle. We'll never beat him out. Broderick Jones is a great player. I said the Steelers draft would be a bust if they didn't draft Jordan Addison. Now, Broderick Jones is great, but he wouldn't have been there at 17. I didn't anticipate the Steelers moving up in the draft. You can't do that. Jordan Addison would have been there at 17. Broderick Jones would not. Broderick Jones is going to be a franchise player. The rest of his career, he'll be a right tackle as long as Dan Moore is on the team.
All right, Jim. See, people ask me, what was Jim like when he played? If you look at George Pickens, he's George Pickens. He made it all about he can't take an L. You got to take the L, Jim. You said he wouldn't start. You said he was going to be a bust. I said he was going to start, and it was a great pick. You still find a way to try to switch it and turn it around. Well, I didn't know if the Steelers were going to do this. They moved up. It was a great pick. Smokin Jim and George Pickens have the same mentality.
Hey, Luther, one in my life seen a right tackle from the right tackle position, man. The guy is a freak of nature to be that big and athletic. But the one thing I can say, I've never seen a guy with better feet than Broderick Jones. I've never seen a guy 330 pounds that can pull. I've never seen a guy that can get on linebackers and defensive backs. But I watched every game he played at Georgia and every game he played for the Steelers. He's yet to have a pancake block on the defensive lineman.
Yeah, Jim, and he's yet to give up a sack. Let's be real. There's not a whole lot of pancaking going on with these guys. What? Jim, he hasn't given up a sack in 2 years. Take your L. Listen, let's get back in the comments because Jim can't admit that he took another on Broderick Jones. It's disgusting at this point, Jim. Terry Fritz, Kenny Kitten Mittens. Hey, Terry Lee, will you leave his hands alone, man? I was at the game. There's nothing wrong with his hands. You can't do nothing about the size of his hands, just like you can't do nothing about any other part of your anatomy. His hands, what they are, he just has to make the throws. Terry, we'll know after today if this offense is finally clicking. Mario Tempest, what's up, Mario? Got to include Washington in offense. Yes.
I agree with that.
He's a big freak of a nature. 6'7". Can we get him in the red zone? Can we throw it up to him?
Yes.
Don't get it.
Yes.
While we don't throw it up to Washington, George Pickens, these guys can go up and make plays. Can we get some fades? Can we do something to get these guys some easy touchdowns where you use their physical advantage?
All they do at the red zone there, Luther, is to run up the middle. They don't do no left to right running. They do running up the middle. Down at the red zone.
A jet sweep with a tight end is a Matt Cannon
something.
Special.
Yes.
Terry Fritz, this will be a battle of who can suck less in the first half. Might as well not watch until the fourth quarter. Oh, Terry.
I like
it. Wrong, but you know what? That's a good point. Hey, let's jump back in here, man. Jim got us off on a tangent because he couldn't accept his L. All right, let's start with Ralph. Ralph, Steelers O versus the Packers defense. Why?
Well, I think that if the Steelers can make some plays against a Packers injured defense, I think they have an opportunity to beat the Packers D. But also too, they have to establish the run game in the line of scrimmage, and I think if the Steelers can do that, they can beat the Packers D. Because I know the Packers D is a little bit, they're okay, but I don't think they're that good.
Okay. Listen, I think the Steelers definitely can make some plays against this defense. They have some injuries at linebacker. They have some injuries in the secondary, and their secondary is very young. So I'm looking forward to being able to exploit some of those matchups. I mean, we have guys like George Pickens. He was calling for the ball. This is a game where he should be able to make plays. Kenny Pickett's going to have some opportunities today with this young defensive backfield. Deontay Johnson should be able to, make his route tree all available. And can we please get Calvin Austin back into this offense? We need to see him on some deep patterns. This is a chance for them to do it, but they have to stay away from one of Smokin Jim's favorite defensive back, Simone Bowles' husband, Jonathan Owens. Smokin Jim, are they going to be able to do it? Your favorite NFL couple right now. Your thoughts, Jim. And Jim, Jim, before we say that, you took another L because you said they weren't going to make it. Jim, they're together still. You said that was the reason she was having problems in the Olympics. You take another L. They're happily married, and he's doing his thing with the Packers, and she's about to go win another Olympic medal. Jim, take your L. But what are your thoughts about Steelers O versus the Packers D?
Well, actually, my favorite couple is Kenny Pickett and his wife, and I bet you right now his wife, where she has bigger hands and bigger feet.
Oh, gosh.
I wish kids be a fan. The last 3 games, the Green Bay's only given up 15 points, so I give the advantage to the Green Bay defense.
Oh, wow. Okay, Jim's looking to catch more L's in this one. All right, Terry's back in there. Green Bay defense will stop our run game. Their front four are dogs. Okay. All right, Jim. So no thoughts on Jonathan Owens and Simone Biles?
I don't have any comments.
You're right about that.
Another L. I don't forget anything. I'm like an elephant, Jim. All right, let's.
Their kids, their son will be a midget wrestler.
Oh, Jim. I know one thing. Their kid's probably going to be a heck of an athlete. I mean, you got an Olympic gold medalist and a starting NFL safety. We could be looking at something special, Jim, with all your hate. Anyway, Jim, why don't you start us off with the Steelers D versus the Packers O?
Well, again, I shocked the world when I told you C.J. Stroud was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Now he's up for MVP. I see the same magic in Jordan Love. I tell you what, man, the world's not seeing it. I really like this offense. I think that the running game with Dillon from Boston College, and that overrated running back Aaron they got.
Aaron Jones is overrated?
Yeah,
wow.
Overrated. He's sucking up too many carries. But I think they'll be able to run on Pittsburgh. And I'll tell you what, man, if I was the Green Bay Packers today, before the game, I would sign Jordan Love to a $230 million guaranteed contract. That is how good he is. I think they're going to let him go next year because this is a deep quarterback year and they figure they can get one. But this guy is getting ready to rip the National Football League apart. It's going to start with today's game.
Wow.
Don't forget, in the last game, he was 19 to 26 for 250 yards and a couple touchdowns, where Kenny Pickett threw the ball 37 times and only for 160 yards. So, and the reason that Calvin Austin can't get the ball is because Kenny Pickett can't get it that deep.
Wow. Okay, Jim, I completely disagree with you as usual. Jordan Love, I don't see it. I saw the first game. I thought he had potential, but the more and more he's shown, he didn't look like he has. He's not reading defenses fast. He has a great offensive line. He has yet to throw for over 260 yards in any game so far. I think we can get a pick. He's been a turnover machine in a couple of the games. They finally broke their winning streak, but I think the Steelers' history against a rookie quarterback or a first-year quarterback is outstanding under Mike Tomlin. I think we're going to be able to rattle Jordan Love. I think we'll be able to get a pick or two out of him. Aaron Jones is not overrated. What happens, he's been injured the last couple years, but he's a guy who could run in between the tackles. He's great in the passing game, Jim. I don't know where you're getting these overrated from. He's put up some incredible numbers, but right now the defenses are gearing to stop him and making Jordan Love beat him. So he's running against stacked defensive lines, and the holes aren't there, and Jordan Love's still trying to find it. I don't see the magic in Jordan Love. There's no magic yet there, Jim. The receiving core, Dobbs, Jaden Reed, not very impressed. Christian Watson is a guy who could make plays, but had some injuries. I like our D. I think we can pressure Jordan Love. I think we'll be able to stop A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones for the most part. I think they'll get about 75 yards, 8 to 80 yards total, but not enough to do damage. And I think T.J. Watt and Highsmith are going to make things miserable. And Jim, again, we got JP, Joey Porter Jr. out there. He's looking like a shutdown corner, Jim. I don't care about the little pass interferences here and there. I'll take his play. How many completions? How many completions on him, Jim? How many completions on him? Not many. Not many. So I'll take the penalties here and there. He's right on there. I miss more Steeler cornerbacks played like he did. He's always around the ball. Maybe he's a little handsy sometimes, but I'll take it. At least the receiver's not 5 yards wide open down the field. He's right there with him, Jim. So again, That was a great pick at the beginning of the second round. I stand by what I said, and he's already starting. You said he wouldn't start. He's already starting. Another L for you, Jim.
No, I never said he wouldn't start.
What?
I said I would trade him for a fifth round pick.
Okay, that's insane. That's even worse. That's even worse, Jim. How? Did he hurt us in the Ravens game, or did he win the game when he got the interception against Odell Beckham? Did he win it when he stopped the fourth down play? Jim, he just shut down DeAndre Hopkins, the Titans' #1 receiver, on Thursday night. I was there. I saw him. DeAndre Hopkins had 3 touchdowns the game before, and when he went up against JP, what happened? He didn't have it.
DeAndre Hopkins been on 4 teams. He begged to come to the Steelers, and they didn't want another George Pickens.
Jim, he was looking. He wasn't trying to come to the Steelers. He was looking for the biggest bag, and Tennessee gave it to him. Stop, Jim. The Steelers were not going to give him that bag.
The Steelers, Hopkins got big hands, and he want to hand Bears pickens.
Oh. Hey, but listen, man. We're speaking of DeAndre Hopkins, man. What he does with his mom, every touchdown he gives her the ball because one of her ex-boyfriends threw acid on her face, so she doesn't see. So every game he gives her the game ball. She's never seen him catch a touchdown pass in the NFL or in college. So every game he scores, he gives it to her, man. It's a sad story, but I respect that. Let's get back to Terry Friends. JPJ is developing nicely. Patrick Peterson is a bust. All right, Frank Jackson. Steelers is about to explode. Wow. Jason Thomas. Jim is on that stuff again. Jordan Love is hot garbage. Hey, real quick, guys, as we get ready to wrap up, man, we got to thank Big Ralph for joining us, man.
Thank you.
This year. But we also have our sitter start. Let's start off with Ralph. All right, Jordan Love. Do you start him in fantasy football, or do you sit him? How do you think he's going to do?
Well, I don't play fantasy football, Luther, but I will say that Jordan Love should actually sit. He's been sitting for the last 5 years, and now he's the starter. I wanted to say this earlier. Matt LaFleur has been exposed. This is the season without Aaron Rodgers, and we have to see what Green Bay's going to do. And it's not working.
Okay, Jim, sit or start Jordan Love.
I would start him in the Pro Bowl game today.
Oh gosh, man, listen, I don't know what's going on with Joe. Sit Jordan Love. I have not been impressed. The first game he showed signs. Ever since then, he's looked less than average. I say sit him as well, like Ralph. All right, Smokin Jim. How about Aaron Jones, your favorite running back in the game today? Sit or start him? Sit. Ralph, you think he'll have a decent game, or would you sit him?
Well, it depends. I mean, I'm on a show on Thursday night called Fire Up with the South Florida Tribune, and the host happens to be from Green Bay, and she said that she thinks if Aaron Jones is healthy enough, because he's had some what they call nuisance injuries, and we'll see what he does. I think he should sit.
Okay, all right. Listen, I say Aaron Jones is going to make some plays in the passing game and the running game. As we know, sometimes our linebackers have trouble covering the running backs out of the backfield.
Yes.
I think he's going to have a good game. Losing Cole Holcomb, Jim, I like what he was doing. You didn't like him from the beginning. I told you he was going to be a solid piece. Unfortunately, he got injured again the second time in 3 years. He's missing.
I think the whole inside linebacker crew itself has done well, better than what we've had over the years, Luther.
Landon Roberts is a hitter.
Hey, Ralph and Luther. Hey, Luther. You know the Steelers defense was ranked 31st in the league. Just so you know. I mean,
no, they're not. They're not ranked 31st, Jim. 31st.
They're ranked number 9.
Jim, where are you getting your information from? They are not ranked 31st.
Steelers defense versus the run is ranked 31st in the league.
It's number 9 in the league, 31st on offense.
Come on, Jim. I don't know where you're getting your stuff from, man. That's terrible. I think he's going to make some plays. I would start him. I think he's going to be their top offensive weapon. All right, let's see. Let's see if we can get Kenny Pickett. How about Kenny Pickett? Would you sit or start him, Ralph?
I'd start him. He needs to get some more experience in playing, the NFL game. I know he had 1 year last year. This year, I think he can. Fourth quarter Kenny, I call him. I think he's gonna do. I'd say adequate in this game. If the defense can hold the offense of Green Bay, I think the Steelers can win. And then all he'll need to do is just, do his fourth quarter magic.
Okay. All right, Smoker Jim. You start.
Bench him, get rid of him, man. There's too many. Get you a real quarterback next year. Levis came to town last week. He said he always wanted to play for the Steelers. He was right here to be picked. But like you said, Lou, you seen the NFL arm. We could have had that. We could have had our next Ben Roethlisberger. Now we got Levin Furniture, man.
Oh, Jim. Levin Furniture, man. All right, I think Kenny's going to have a solid game. I would start him today. I think he can exploit a young, injured Packers secondary. I think he can get 2 touchdowns today. I think he's going to get the ball to Deontay Johnson, and I'm hoping Calvin Austin finally reappears. He hasn't had anything since the beginning of the year. All right, let's jump back on this. Frank Jackson, Jordan Love needs to sit. Frank Jackson, Smokin Jim, just saying anything. Jason, Aaron might get busy today. You talk about Aaron Jones, I guess.
Yes.
Kenny Montana is a start black. What? Jason, I don't know what you're saying here. All right, Terry French, 27-21 Steelers. Okay, all right. Let's look to the running backs. Let's start with Ralph. How do you think Najee? Do you start him today?
No, I think you sit him. I think you need the Jalen Warren. I think is a much better running back. It seems like Najee Harris did like he did last year. He seems he hasn't gotten off on the right foot in running. Last week I saw a little bit of some. He's gotten better at running, but I don't know what his deal was. I don't know if he's behind the 8 ball. I don't know if he's hurt again. We don't know. I mean, but it just seems like he got a slow start again.
Okay. Smoker Jim. How about Najee Harris?
Before I say that, I'm looking at Fox Sports NFL team defense ranking through week 9. Number 1, the Cleveland Browns at 234 yards. Number 31 in total defense, the Steelers giving up 377 yards a game and 15 touchdowns. So again, I'm right. I would start Najee Harris. I was right about the Steelers defense. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you, Luther.
Where are you getting that information at? Oh, where are you getting that information, Jim?
Sports.
What?
2023 NFL defense ranking, team pass and team rush total defense rankings through week 9. Browns 1, Ravens 2, Cowboys 3, Chiefs 4. The Steelers 31 and the Broncos 32. They ain't too far behind the Broncos.
Well, Jim, considering they're on the game out of 48 minutes, they're on the game 45 minutes. You figure the Steelers probably give up a lot of yards. They're on the game. They're on the field all game, Jim. And I still don't see that. I still don't see that, Jim. I'm still. Yeah, that's not what I'm looking at. That's not what I'm looking at. And I say sit Najee Harris. I don't see him having a great game. How about George Pickens? He made a lot of headlines. Do you guys sit or do you guys start George Pickens? He said free him last week. He dropped the touchdown pass, was pouting on the sideline. Ralph, do you sit or do you start him?
I say you sit him for his attitude problem. And until he fixes his attitude, I wouldn't play him.
How about you, Jim? Sit or start George Pickens today?
Well, they tell me that they banned all drugs was in Dallas. That's why they got Martavius Bragg.
Oh
Would trade
gosh.
George Pickens to him right now for a fifth round pick, brother. Yeah, I said him. He's cancer in the locker room. You got to get rid of him, brother.
All right. Listen, man, I say start him. I think he's going to have a great game today. Got to start him. And the last one, Deontay Johnson. What do you guys? Do you sit or do you start him? He had a great game last week against the Titans. Jim, sit or start?
Well, I tell you what, I think he ought to compete. They should keep a stat between him and 87 Rodney Williams and see who drops more passes. Who's the true Dropson? Listen, Deontay Johnson, this guy's the worst leader I've ever seen. He can't talk, he can't speak, he don't know how to act. Isn't that many drop passes? It's the worst $18 million. It's a robbery. This man robbed the bank without a mask, Lou. The Steelers got average receivers. It's time to get rid of some of these guys, man, and see if you get Jordan Addison in here.
Okay. All right.
Or maybe that guy that ain't got no eyebrows with his name for the Vikings quarterback. I would love to have him.
Who Josh Dobbs?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh man, yeah, Josh Dobbs. I'm happy about what he's done, man. You know, get to the Vikings on Wednesday. You start Sunday and you win the game, man.
That's amazing.
It's amazing, man. It's a shame how he's bounced around the league, you know. But it's a kudos to him, man. He's still fighting. He's a rocket scientist, Jim. You always used to make fun of him when he was here, but he's doing his thing. He's made a solid career for himself.
Yes,
so after he retires, he'll be out there, flying spaceships and doing the aeronautics thing. So definitely.
He can send a man to the moon, but he can't grow eyebrows.
Oh, come on, man. Deontay Johnson, I say he's definitely a guy you start. He's back in. Kenny Pickett is trusting him. So I say definitely start him. Real quick, let's get back to this and we get to our predictions. Jason Thomas, Harris is overrated. Start Warren. Frank Jackson, Harris is slow as hell. Terry Fritz, Najee is too fat. Sit him. Terry Fritz, definitely start GP. Terry Fritz, sit Dropson. In fact, trade him. Wow. And Terry Fritz is on fire today. Thanks, Terry.
Yes, he is.
A testament to how poor Steelers coaching is. Come on, Terry. Listen, he was up against it. Ben was here when he was here. I'm not saying he's the next coming. He's a great backup, but as a starter, I don't see him as being a starter. But he's a great backup, and he's doing well. Let's get into our predictions. Starting with you, Ralph. What is your prediction for the score today?
I'm going to go with 24-14 Steelers.
Okay. All right. Smokin Jim.
42-17. Watson throws 4 touchdowns.
Who?
Jordan Love.
You don't even know. You mentioned your black quarterbacks up, Jim. Sean Watson plays for Cleveland, and he likes massages. Jordan Love.
Christian Watson catches 2 long bombs on Joey Porter Jr.
Jim once again with another wrong prediction. Listen, I think it's going to be a close competitive game, but I think defensively we're going to get Jordan Love to make enough mistakes and to our offense can get going. I see a 2017 victory by the Steelers.
It's going to be another dogfight, Luther. That's the simple fact.
Oh, for sure. No doubt. Every game it is.
Every game, yeah.
Because we don't have the type of offense. And real quick, I want to get your answer. Is Kenny Pickett the answer, Ralph?
I think so. I think we need to get another offensive coordinator in here, somebody with some pedigree. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I think they need to bring in Mark Whipple as an offensive assistant. Mark Whipple was his quarterback's coach and his offensive coordinator at Pitt. He lit the sky up at Pitt with Whipple's offense. I think if Whipple comes in here and not as offensive coordinator, He's a little up in age here, but bring him in as an offensive assistant and he works with Kenny Pickett.
Okay. All right, Smokin Jim.
Well, you guys want to kiss, George Pickens' butt, Kenny Pickett's butt. Something that Donahoe taught me when he was general manager for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, he gave me his private number, so give him a call if I see Eric Green and Worley out late night. But get them good or get them gone. Hey, Luther, Kenny Pickett is not the answer. You got to replace him. You got to replace him with a quarterback with a real arm. The Steelers only had two. Bradshaw and Big Ben. It's not easy, but you got to keep going and going until you find that right guy. We don't have that right guy right now. Listen, Lou, already C.J. Stroud has more touchdown passes than Kenny Pickett has in his whole career. Kenny Pickett only had one game in his whole career where he threw multiple touchdowns in a game. Lou, that is crazy. Listen, you got to get to a franchise quarterback if you want to go anywhere. You already got a mediocre coach. You don't need a mediocre quarterback to go with it.
Wow. You listen, I wanted to hold off until after this year. I said, give him a chance. I'm still holding out hope that he can improve. I'm not sure. I was pretty sure. I said after the first year he's going to make the next jump. I'm not sure anymore. Frank Jackson says, hell no.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett is not the answer. Terry French, hell no. KP is a backup. Steelers need to look further than Pitt for their franchise QB. Look for a West Coast QB. Terry is on fire today. Jason Thomas, get rid of
Luther, real quick here. Wow. The reason why the Steelers took Kenny Pickett was because they didn't want the Dan Marino headache again, like they had before. Because remember, they didn't draft Dan Marino, and they should have. And I think the Steelers would have 10 Super Bowls if Dan Marino was our quarterback. And I mean, it's just the fact that they don't want to hear that stuff from Pitt fans. Oh, you didn't take Kenny Pickett, and he went somewhere else and became a success.
Yeah, you could say that. That was a bad move, but Kenny Pickett was at the time it looked like he was the best quarterback in last year's draft. Now people are saying Brock Purdy was the best quarterback, but he's gotten exposed the last couple of weeks.
Yes, he has.
Maybe last year's quarterback draft was just that poor, and they could have waited. It's the jury's still out, but I do like the fact that at the end of the games, when the game is on the line, Kenny Pickett steps up like no other quarterback in football right now.
Yeah, in the fourth quarter, yes.
He's Joe Montana and Tom Brady in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
So if he can just get some of that in the first three quarters, he'd be a very serious quarterback. But
we had a touchdown in the first drive in last week's game, Luther.
And then did nothing until the fourth quarter, the last drive. But listen, that first drive was amazing. I couldn't believe he was on point, and then it just, fell apart. We'll see. Hey, guys, I want to thank all the guys for jumping in. Jason, Terry, Frank, Mario.
Thank you very much for jumping in, guys. That was very good.
For joining us, man. Claudio, good luck in the game. Hopefully, CMU's able to win the doubleheader today. Smokin Jim, man. Glad you could come on. Your phone was working a little better. You still talked a little crazy, but, we love you anyway. Hey, for Ralph, for Smokin Jim, thank all you guys for coming.
Hey, Luther, put January 2nd on your schedule, the Year in Sports Review on Sports Corner Radio.
Oh, can't wait. All right, Ralph. All right, Jim. We'll talk to you next time. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.
All right. Have a great one. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.